Hello and welcome to our Week 3 Monday night postgame show presented by Fishing Northeast. Back by popular demand, it's your host, Tyler Feldman. I'm joined with Matt, Ben, Ellis, and Ryan. We're here breaking down tonight's Week 3 Monday night action. We had a slate of 4 games. Not a lot of close games. We had one close game, but still some good matchups. It's early in the season. We saw some things from some teams that we were unsure of. Let's jump right into it. Let's go to our first game. I'm going to go out of order here, but I just have it the way I'm written down. So let's start with the Firm and the Rookies. It looked like the Firm came out 51-40, trailed most of that game, came back in the second half, really showed us something. Anyone want to comment?
Yeah, the Firm were not playing well very early on. They were down to the Rookies. They needed a lot of play from Chris Martinez. He was the catalyst tonight. He was a matchup nightmare for the Rookies. He came down, it was just dunk after dunk after foul after dunk. And that's the way they play. They want to get up and down, run the floor fast, and create a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, he seemed to be sort of like the deadly mixture of size and athleticism.
Definitely.
It was either you stayed back on him and he drove right past you, or he came up on it. There was really no.
You press up on him, he's going to blow by
Absolutely.
you. You lay off, he's going to drill the three right in your face.
Yeah, so. I know. We, my team, next week we have our hands full with the Firm, and I know that we're already trying to figure out how we're going to stop him. Yeah, I think we're sort of at that pivotal point in the season where some teams are starting to get the chemistry and used to the speed of the game, and some teams are still sort of lagging behind.
Definitely.
So we might see, this Rookies team maybe not conditioned well enough, and this Firm team is really starting.
They looked a lot improved though.
No, definitely, yeah. We saw them play. They played the Monstars pretty well last week, and they came in tonight, and they took care of business, even though they were down in the first half, which is, of course, what we're looking to see. Moving on, another game, the 10 o'clock game tonight. It was not pretty out here, unless you were a Serial Killers fan. 118-64 over the Avengers. Tyron Coward at 33 points. Things are going awful when Tyron's dropping 30 plus.
Some of them are garbage points, though. Let's be honest.
Well, the whole fourth quarter seemed to be a lot of garbage.
That's
but
fair.
when you're down 40 plus going into the fourth quarter, defense isn't really high priority. They seem to really be.
I don't know that Ty even stepped on this half the court.
Right. I think the Avengers were really ready to get out of here.
Right.
Sorry?
Cherry picking left and right.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of just 2 people on defense, 2 people on offense. Every loose ball, you're just hucking it back and forth down the field. But before this got really out of hand, this first half, what did we see when these teams were still sort of, giving it their all?
Well, it was a great first half. Prior to that injury, it was a great ball game. I thought it was pretty closely contested. And then, that second half, they just turned a switch, and it was just... There's no stopping them. We all know how serial killers play.
Yeah.
They're a very athletic team. Seemed like they could just get any shot they wanted. So 2 guys I think actually had 30 points, Mike and Tyrone. So it was a great game. Can't wait to watch them next week.
Yeah, Mike had 26 and 7 steals. Tyrone had 33, and Nick Perry had 20. They were balanced all around. I talked to Justin Thompson after the game, and he said that they wanted to come into this game and the rest of the games having balanced scoring, balanced attack on offense, balance on defense, getting a lot of turnovers, and they want everyone to contribute. They're very team oriented, even though there's a lot of showboating with dunks and chucking threes and whatnot, but they're very team oriented. They attributed that win to playing as a team and getting out in transition and getting a couple of threes and dunks. And getting excited and whatnot.
Yeah, it always amazes me because we've seen Mike Davis, you guys maybe not so much, but some of us that have been around the league for a while now, we've seen Mike Davis put on performances, 50 points effortlessly, and it seems like with this team, it's sort of a more balanced attack. He doesn't need to do it all himself, and even tonight, it seemed like he had a quiet game, and at the end of the night, he ends up with 27 or 30, like you said. And it's just one of those things where, how do you keep up with a high-powered offense like that? Mike Davis, we know, is MVP in this league, all-star, perennial all-star. The serial killers team looks really, really loaded this year. Obviously, not a great performance from them last season, so they look like they're ready to go this year. Definitely scary. Our first, I believe that's our first triple-digit score of the season.
Yeah, Monstars came close. They had 90 or so. I think that was the closest they came before.
118-64, an absolute blowout. I'm sure, check the Snapchat out. I'm sure there's a lot of good highlights on there. Moving on. A team got their first win tonight. Light It Up versus the Renegades. Close game. Renegades now fall to 0-2. Of course, they had their snow day last week, so they didn't get to play. Light It Up 57-54. Came down to the last possession. This was a great game.
It really was a great game. The Renegades were actually up the entire game going into the fourth quarter. At the half, it looked like a sure victory for the Renegades.
Yeah.
But in that fourth quarter, Light It Up doubled the points that the Renegades had. They had a 20-point in the fourth quarter. Really playing hard. In the first half, it seemed like the Renegades were hitting a lot of threes and lighted up, just wasn't playing the game that they intended to play. That second half, though, they played better defense, started shutting down the Renegades, and they started making their shots, and that's what ended up getting them the victory. And it did go down to that last 11 seconds. Those foul shots put them in the head by 1.2 points, and they ended up winning the game by 3.
Yeah, I think we all know that this lighted up team is a team that lives and dies by shooting the ball. So if you're fouling them, you're putting them at the line at the end of the game. That's sort of their strength. You're putting their shooters in an easy position. Obviously, I think that we haven't seen the best Renegades that we're going to. I think that this is a team that they're having some chemistry issues. They're having some attendance issues. They're not getting all their players to show up to all their games. You know, they had a short bench tonight. So I think that this is a team that we will see bounce back. I know they most of those guys with the combos last season, we know that they're a gritty team. They play a lot of good team defense. So I think that somewhere along the line they'll get on the board. But, you know, this is a tough loss tonight for them. Of course, leading, like you said, all game and then blowing it at the end there, you know. It's sort of like the Atlanta Falcons. It's weird. Shout out to the Patriots, Tom Brady. Our last game of the night, to surprise of basically no one here, Redemption 80-42 over White Magic. White Magic almost gets doubled up. They seem to just, you know, they're lacking in scoring, it seems like. And, you know, obviously we know Redemption is a really powerful team in this league. And what do we think? We think White Magic's going to be able to get on the board this year?
It's going to be tough. In all honesty, they shot the ball poorly once again, and they were absolutely dominated by Jalen Graham and Scott Korshard. They were just a dynamic duo. Korshard set Graham up a lot for dunks and threes in transition. Korshard had a couple threes himself. It was just a totally dominant performance, and it was kind of close in the first quarter. White Magic was making some shots, and then after the injury, they just flipped the switch and absolutely dominated. They did not take their foot off the pedal. They were pressing even when they were up 40. It was a good showing.
Yeah, this is a team that seems to sort of have the feel of a true basketball team. Like this is a team with guys who have been coached and they sort of know, rather than a run and gun style, this Redemption team, you can tell that they're all ballers and they know what they're doing. They're drawing up plays. You can tell.
Playing real basketball,
Absolutely.
playing hard.
Absolutely.
You see the fluid motion on the floor. A lot of these other teams are kind of all over the place. They do a good job.
Now we have, of course, 4 more games tomorrow night. A lot of really great matchups. A couple that worry me, my own game included. Of course, like I said, we have No Limit versus my team, Stranger Danger. You have Temptations in Lob 203. You have our game of the night, which is going to be Monstars Sports Look, and then Run TMC versus Goon. Again, check back with us tomorrow night. Again, you know the drill, at Legacy_Leagues, at Legacy_Leagues2 for Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you for letting me back on air. It's been a pleasure for all these guys up here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Good night.